Good evening, Lake Orion. I'm a Taormina. It's been a stormy week around here. I'm your host, and I am Between Taorminas. Hello, Lake Orion. It's been a while. It's been a week. Sam, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Happy 4th of July to you.
Same to you. Guys might notice that Ian is not with us this week. That's because he's on vacation, as many other Lake Orioners are.
Yes.
We've got a great show this week. We've got Tigers. We've got the NHL situation. We've got the Lakers and Steve Nash. We got the Senior Open down the road, and we also got call-outs this week. So let's hop right into it, Sammy.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's first talk about the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2 weeks ago, we had Chris Barnett on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We had said that the Tigers had to get by Minnesota and Kansas City.
Yes.
They basically played Minnesota to a stalemate, winning the last two. What's your views about that?
I think the Tigers are in trouble because you got to look at it here. You're supposed to. I thought maybe take 3 or 4 from Minnesota would be good, but why? But take the last 2. You know what I mean? Like, you had to rely on a Prince Fielder home run to just basically win that game for yourselves. I mean, like, you got to look at it here. I think the Tigers are in big trouble here because you got Chicago's rolling. Chicago's rolling right now. They're hot right now. They just swept Texas. Cleveland's doing well, but who knows? But I think the Tigers are in deep, deep trouble.
You think so? Even if with them playing Kansas City this weekend, a series that is beatable?
Well, if they could take 3, I think if you look at it here, it's a 3-game series. The Tigers can sweep that series with Kansas City. Chicago's got to play Toronto. That's not going to be an easy series right there. But if you look at it with the Tigers, if they can sweep Kansas City, they might have a chance.
Well, also don't forget Minnesota has been very successful at Comerica Park, especially against the Tigers, recently until the last 2 at the end of the series. Do you think that maybe we're expecting too much from the Tigers?
Maybe. I mean, you got to look at it here with what the Tigers have. I mean, the Tigers are just not, we don't know what we're going to expect from them. Sometimes, they got the good pitching there. They get good pitching, they can't hit. If they get good hitting, they can't pitch. It's a mystery with this team.
Inconsistency.
They're not consistent. I mean, a lot of people said Tigers are going to be a very good team this year. They're underachieving.
Well, I think that the panic button should not be pushed yet. The
Tigers. I disagree
because you look at it, we're getting halfway in the season. It's 4.5 right now of Chicago, who is rolling. And you were right, they did sweep Texas, which was very impressive.
I'm a little nervous here because you got to look at it with the Tigers, we know they haven't hit their stride yet, but when are they going to hit their stride? Will they hit it this year? We don't know. And that's scaring me.
I think one thing that we should pay attention to, I know you're going to address this more into detail, but you're noticing the struggles with Ryan Rayburn, Andy Dirks. You look
Andy Dirks out.
Right, but I'm talking about Ryan Rayburn in particular.
Well, you got to look at it here. The Tigers are not their 5 through 9 is really bad. Besides Jackson, Berry, Cabrera, and Fielder.
That's not your 5 through 9, but
no, your first 4. Who else you got? You got Bosch, Young. They're struggling.
Peralta.
They haven't been able to get that big hit. They still leave runners in scoring position. If they don't get a big bat in that lineup, particularly, especially in that second base area, they're going to struggle.
So you think that you still think the Tigers need a second baseman?
Yes.
You think they need another bat? I disagree with you about the other bat. I don't think they need another bat. I do think that they do need some help in the pitching. Maybe get that.
Well, we know about Fister. Fister's been in and out. He had a really bad outing the other day against Minnesota. He's pitches one more time against Kansas City. Then, of course, Verlander, everybody knows Verlander's having, he had that one bad hiccup against Tampa, but he's been good. But you just got to see here. Smiley's been a question mark. They've had to do a bullpen start. I'm starting to regret maybe Drew Smiley being in the rotation.
Going forward, do you think that the Tigers, where do you think the Tigers go from here? Do you think they get better? Do you think they get worse? What's your view on that?
I think it's going to be, I got a really bad feeling about this. This is reminding me of 2008 because, once they got into that, after the All-Star break, they were swept by Cleveland. Cleveland. If you look at it here, if they can get it starts with Campton Yards, but I think if you, I have a bad feeling about this with the Tigers. I do.
I wouldn't count your chickens out before they hatch, but I do think that the Tigers are still okay. They're still in the race. They're still in the, and I do think Chicago and Cleveland are both due for letdowns, and the Tigers already had their letdown earlier in the year. Well, so I'm going to say that that there's no reason to panic just yet, that the Tigers are going to bounce back from this, and eventually Chicago and Cleveland are going to fall.
Well, Chicago's had a great year with Chris Sale, you know what I mean? Him doing well, he got Jake Peavy, their hitters are starting to come by. Dunn's having a revamped year. If you look at it here with the Youkilis coming to Chicago, I think he's made a big impact there. And of course, let's look at it here with the Tigers. I mean, they got a bill. I mean, it's going to be an interesting race.
Do you think the expectations was what is the big reason why the Tigers are struggling like this?
I think I think that the problems they're still having is their issues with runners in scoring position. They've been in and out, you know what I mean? If they don't get consistent real quick, it's going to be a long year.
Final thoughts on the Tigers?
Well, see what happens with Kansas City, Baltimore, LA, and Chicago.
My view is on the Tigers, don't panic just yet.
They might lose 7 of 8, who knows?
All right, that concludes our first topic on the Tigers. Stay tuned. We got more topics on the way on Between Taorminas.
On ON TV.
3 students were in the hospital this past weekend.
2 honor roll students were hospitalized last night.
5 local students lost their college scholarships last night.
Another local high school student has passed away.
Another 3 dead.
Claimed the life of another local teenager.
The cause?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. I don't want to be another number.
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 I don't want to be just another number.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Lake Orion, welcome back to Between Taorminas on ONTV. We got another topic going around in the NHL. 2 big moves, Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, both going to one of your favorite teams, the Minnesota Wild.
I hate the Wild, for crying out loud, because, me being a hockey fan, me being a Dallas fan, of course, but on the deals, 13 years, $98 million, $7.5 million per season. I mean, Minnesota really must be that desperate. Or, as I think a lot of people call it, Parise coming home and bringing Ryan Suter with them.
Well, they haven't made the playoffs in, I think, 4 years.
No, they haven't.
So, I mean, you look at a team like the Red Wings. The Red Wings were at Suter's house, if you remember, and they were this close to getting him. What do you think about that?
Well, I think there was a difference, family. I think that I got to give credit to Ryan Suter's wife, because his wife was from Minnesota, and and I guess that wanted to be close to her, but wanted to be close to her state, and of course Parise. I found out Parise and Suter were good friends with each other. They were texting each other. looking at possible destinations. So it looked like it was more of like a tag team that they wanted to go together than it was each of them going separate.
So they wanted to play with each other more, and they wanted to choose. But why Minnesota? I mean, the thing is like, but why Minnesota? I mean,
Minnesota's Prize's hometown, for crying
Right.
out loud. And I know that Suter, like I said earlier, Suter's wife is from Minnesota. So, I mean, like, why would you join those two forces? You know what I mean? They're both 27 right now. They're going to be under contract until 41. I mean, like, if you look at it, I think this is a recipe for disaster, especially with Minnesota because of their farm system.
Well, long term, if you look at the damage that this could be for Minnesota, right now it looks pretty good for them.
Of course.
But in the long term, this might hurt Minnesota because of the, what happens when because the NHL's in a collective bargaining agreement year where they're renegotiating contracts, and what if Minnesota goes over? They have to pay a tax.
Right, but of course, if they do go over, then will their owner be willing to pay the tax? Do I think he will? I don't know, because but they've been suffering down there in St. Paul. This is a good hire, especially for marketing over there in Minnesota. But of course, you look at that division where they got to deal with. Colorado's starting to get better. You got Vancouver still in that division. You got Calgary. Calgary we don't know, but if you look at it, a lot of people hyping up Minnesota. I still think. I think the toughest division is still a Pacific Division.
Obviously, you kind of pointed out with the question of does Minnesota become a playoff team with these acquisitions of Parise and Suter?
No.
You don't think so? Why?
Because if you look at it, they're just two players. They're two talented players, but you got to develop a team around them. If you look at LA last year, they got Carter and they got Richards from both originally Philadelphia, and then they got a good supporting cast. They had a good goalie, got hot. They were the 8th seed and went on one Stanley Cup. It has to be developed around the team. It can't be developed around two players. You know what I mean? No, there's no I in team.
So who do you consider the class of the West right now?
I would consider.
And don't say Dallas.
No, I would consider. Be honest, I'm gonna say Los Angeles because they've
got
the crops. They got the Stanley Cup. They got the defense. They got the goalie. They got the players. I think that can score goals. You know what? They're electric right now.
Do you think it's better for the Wings to not have acquired either Parise or Suter and go after somebody else?
Well, this is gonna be a big disappointment for Detroit fans. I'm gonna be honest with you, but there's a guy named Shea Weber who's gonna be a free agent after next year. Detroit, probably keep your eye on him.
I do think that, to be honest with you, I do agree with you about the impact of the Wings. I think to the Wings, I mean, they've got a lot more money than they've ever had.
They're gonna struggle this year.
I think that this might be a good thing for the Wings. We'll see what happens.
Detroit's gonna struggle this year because they still gotta get 2 defensemen and they still gotta get. I mean, who knows? Rick Nash might be available.
Well, we'll see what happens. Also, there was also another development that happened in L.A. Steve Nash. He's going to the Lakers now. What do you think about that?
This has disaster written all over it.
What?
Because if you look at it here, I mean, like, Kobe Bryant's a ball hog. You got Andrew Bynum, Paul Gasol there. I mean, like, they say, feed me the ball, feed me the ball. You got Steve Nash here. How do you consider this an upgrade, especially when you have Oklahoma City in that conference? They will not get past Oklahoma City.
So you're saying Steve Nash is not an upgrade over Derek Fisher when he was there?
Because if you look at it, Steve Nash has got back problems.
He's a 3-time MVP.
He's got back problems.
So, I mean, if you look at how Steve Nash plays, Steve Nash is a game changer.
Well, everybody says that, but of course, how is he going to be defensively? Los Angeles got beat. When they lost Oklahoma City, they were beat athletically. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oklahoma City has a lot of athletes. LA does not have a lot of athletes. They're getting older, too.
Do you think that the reason why Steve Nash went to LA was for family reasons?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? He's openly said that the reason why he went to LA was his family.
Persuaded him to go to LA.
I don't think that at all.
That's what they said.
You really think you really think because Steve Nash wanted to be closer to his family, that was a big reason why he went to LA?
Yeah,
to the Lakers.
well, because he was in Phoenix for a few years, you know what I mean?
Right, but his family's closer to LA, aren't they?
Yeah, well, but I still think it's gonna be disaster in LA.
Why? I mean,
Because
it's going to help. I think it'll help I think that it might help the Lakers at least short term. For the Lakers, it's about winning championships.
Disasters coming long term. You're gonna give up in a sign and trade. You're gonna give up a lot of first rounds. They're gonna be struggling for the next five. I mean, look at them 10 years down the road. They're gonna struggle.
You really think the Lakers are going to be struggling?
They're gonna struggle down the road.
You think so? With the NBA the way it is now, you think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be back down to where before Phil Jackson came back and fixed that team?
It's gonna eventually happen, maybe in 10, 15 years.
So you think the Lakers aren't going to make the playoffs?
This year, I think they'll make the playoffs, but next year, like the next 6, 7 years, they probably won't make the playoffs.
So and you're viewing the Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash alliance going to be a disaster?
Yes, it's going to be a disaster.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's going to be a disaster. I think that the Lakers are going to be just fine. I think the Lakers, Steve Blake's still there.
Yeah, but he's a backup.
Right, but if you back up Steve Nash, you look at Kobe, you got your favorite player made of world peace, a.k.a. Ron Artest. You got Bynum, you got Gasol.
Yeah, but they're looking at maybe trading Bynum for Dwight Howard, who I think is an overrated NBA player.
What? You don't think
Dwight Howard's an overrated NBA player? He just wants he's a crybaby in them all words. He wants out of Orlando.
Well, yeah, obviously he wants out of Orlando.
He's a crybaby, Dwight Howard.
He wants to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's why he's a crybaby. He's a crybaby.
All right. Any final words on the Lakers or on the Wild or the Wings?
Well, if you look at it here, I think Minnesota. A lot of people are gonna hype Minnesota up, but I'll tell you what, 2 players don't make a team.
I think that this, regardless what happens, this helps the Wings out. This helps the other teams of the NHL. Doesn't help out Minnesota, at least in the long term. Short term, it does. They do make the playoffs, but we'll see what happens with the Lakers. See how it goes. I mean, a lot of people think the Lakers are going to be an NBA championship team. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
All right. When we get back, we've got the Senior Open coming up at Indianwood, Lake Orion. Stick around to Between Taorminas on ONTV.
3 students were in the hospital this past weekend.
2 honor roll students were hospitalized last night.
5 local students lost their college scholarships last night.
Another local high school student has passed away.
Another 3 dead.
Claimed the life of another local teenager.
The cause?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. I don't want to be another number.
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 I don't want to be just another number.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
All right, we are back Between Taorminas, part 3 of our 11 show this week, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think Ian feels about this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll see what happens next week. I heard he's got to wear a Spanish jersey, doesn't he?
Yes, courtesy of a bit.
Shout out to Joe Johnson about the Spanish jersey.
Beating the Italians.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm an Italy guy, so.
Yeah, I know. Sadly.
All right, we've got something big going on this week in Lake Orion from July 9th through July 15th. It is the Senior Open.
U.S. Senior Open.
The U.S. Senior Open at Indianwood. What do you think about that?
It's going to be fun, I think, especially for the community of Lake Orion. You got Lake Orion going to be exposed to the national spotlight, you're going to have a lot of media over here.
NBC, ONTV.
You got some it's a big opportunity here for a lot of them. It's a big opportunity for a lot of people, you know what I mean? Especially to see some of the greatest golfers in our generation, especially at a good course like Indianwood. You know what I mean? It's a good golf course to play at.
So you look at the names that are going to be like Fred Couples. I mean, who would ever thought, we would be, years ago we were watching Fred Couples play golf, in the PGA Tour. Now he's going to be coming to Lake Orion, which our town, and going to be playing at Indianwood. It's going to be quite an honor for Lake Orion. It's going to be quite an important thing for Lake Orion. It's going to be good to get Lake Orion out in the community. I think also out in the nation, and I think it's going to be a really good, fun time.
It's exciting because for Lake Orion, you know what I mean? Of course, you got football here on Friday nights. I mean, it's a great opportunity to expose Lake Orion
in the national
spotlight, to see how good of a community, how tight-knit together a community is when you bring in the Senior Open, the U.S. Senior Open, and Indianwood Country Club's done a very nice job. You know what I mean? They've, you got to give props to them.
Set up the greens
and all that. And of course, my pick for this week, the field.
So you're going with the field over Fred Couples, aren't you?
Correct.
That's a safe pick because who knows? I think Fred Couples might have a chance. I mean, I'm actually going to go on a limb. I'm going to say Fred Couples takes the Senior Open. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun. Also for kids 17 and under, I believe they get in for free, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So it'll be very fun for the it'll be a lot of great fun, a lot of exposure.
Oh yeah.
Lake Orion gets some much deserved exposure. Also, the Southeast Michigan in the state, in Southeast Michigan as well gets a lot of recognition and.
Forgot Mid-Michigan.
Yeah,
I think this helps. With
it helps with the economy too.
Well, also you got to look at it when the state lost the Buick Open at Warwick Hills. It's it was a sad day in the state. I mean, right. And I'm still really sad about this. So maybe this helps, maybe in the short term, but we'll just see what happens with the state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Buick Open, that was that was devastating to lose.
Still sad about that.
And but hopefully this does help out, and we'll see what happens. It'll be the Senior Open, July 9th through July 15th. It'll be fun.
Be good.
Mm-hmm.
Good for the community. Come on
It'll
up.
be really good. Now we've got the call-outs for this week. I don't have any call-outs this week, but my brother has 3 call-outs he'd like to make.
Well, this week I've got, I was up in Caseville this week, and before coming back down, I mean, you look at, the first one I want to call out is of course, all 3 Flint and Saginaw channels. I have here the map here of the state, of the counties that you serve in the area, and I look here at ECAST. This is Oakland County. I look at, in years past, you 3 stations have served Oakland County. You got ABC 12. You have a Skycam in Howard, for crying out loud. ABC 12, for me, first of all, serve the rest of the county with pride and dignity, please. For TV5, you took Oakland County off the map. I look at your weather stations here, and you're going, and I see Lapeer County, down the south. Where there's a little thing called Oakland County right here that you serve. There's a lot of fans in Oakland County that want to see you. That want to see you guys on air. I don't care if you're from Merrill, Michigan. It's right by Saginaw. Give Oakland County exposure. And the third one, for crying out loud, is NBC 25. A few years ago, I watched you guys from Oakland County, and then you had Oakland County. Now you took Oakland County off the map. NBC 25, I can't believe I'm saying this. Please put Oakland County back on the map. I'm saying it to 2 of you guys. Put Oakland County back on the map. Because Oakland County is part of Mid-Michigan.
Wasn't your picture also on one of those channels as well?
Yes, it was on TV5.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Also, I remember my uncles seeing your picture on there, and it was he was so proud.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking, ABC 12, you do a good job with Oakland County, but expose the rest of the county, because your headquarters in Flint, you know what I mean? You got Oakland County right here. I know you have Livingston County. But, of course, the rest, TV5 and NBC 25, please put Oakland County on the map, especially when I have to get weather alerts. Mm-hmm. Thank you. The next call I'm going to call, it's a Tiger. I mean, like, I can't even say his name. Ryan Rayburn. Ryan Rayburn. Why? Because, let's see here. You dropped the baseball in the Minnesota Twins series. You know, you can't hit. You get booed. And you're begging for another chance?
Brandon Inge all over again.
This is Brandon Inge all over again. I mean, like, and I supported Brandon Inge. You know, I've always wanted, a lot of people say you're a second year guy. You know what I mean? A second, second stretch of the All-Star game. Yeah, like that. But if you don't get, I mean, like, Rayburn, I'm begging you. Go. Just go. Ryan Rayburn, you make me cry every single time I see you at the plate. It even makes me at times want to boo you. I'm doing it right now. Boo! Boo! Get out of town! Oh. And then the third call I'm going to call out is the San Diego Chicken. San Diego Chicken.
Look at that.
You look like you exposed yourself to be, I think you're a loser. Because, like, you got to look at, you're going like, you dance like crazy. You look at yourself, you try to make a fool out of yourself every time that you come up to the,
Don't most mascots.
Yeah, like most mascots, but then again, you're the worst of them all because you do like, woo-hoo, I'm dancing. No, San Diego Chicken, I've seen you in so many places. You've gotten killed a couple times, and of course, if I see you in here, I'd throw a baseball at you right now.
So you're saying that you want to call out the San Diego Chicken to come on the show and dance around here, and you would just go and tackle him?
Of course, like Terry Tate does.
You would want Joe Johnson, Joe Valdez, Ian Weatherspoon, Pat Ronan, all of them to call the San Diego Chicken to come on our show.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I support it. You know what I mean? It'd be really good. Be really nice, of course, and of course, also add my good friend Pat Caputo.
You want Pat Caputo to come on the show?
Of course, Pat Caputo. I mean, like, the door's open for you, Pat Caputo.
Nice. Very, very nice. Well, I mean, you got any personal shout-outs you want to give out?
Of course, I'd like to send a special shout-out to, congratulations to Spain for knocking off Italy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, sadly, it was an interesting game. You know what I mean? A lot of people say this is Spain's best team, and I think it is right now. But I still think Italy's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, I'd like to give a personal couple shout-outs of my own to. First of all, I'd like to say, congratulations to all those who benefited from free agency. Congratulations to all Lake Orioners and others who've had a great 4th of July. Also, congratulations to the United States of America celebrating its birthday on the 4th, Canada for celebrating it on the 1st, and get to see from great and better things.
I also like to congratulate Joey Chestnut for winning the Joe's Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Tied his own record, 68 hot dogs. Hot dog eating is a sport, by the way.
Well, that does it for our show this week. I'd like to thank everyone. See you next week on Between Taorminas. Yeah.